Hey, one more thing before you go. Are you an Elvis fan? Do you want an up close and personal look at Elvis, his life, his movies, his love life, his addictions, and his untimely death? Stay tuned as the Oscars are closing in, and there's a few more Oscar 2023 nominated films and talent that we want to review. And we're going to take this Wednesday episode and have a fantastic conversation about an intense Oscar nominated film, director, and actor. And if you haven't seen it, you need to see. We're talking about Elvis being in the building. I'm your host, Michael R. Hurst. I'm here with my lovely wife and co host, Diane.
Hello, everyone.
And we're going to talk about Elvis, the 2022 biopic directed by Baz Luhrmann and starring Austin Butler. Welcome to One More Thing Before You Go. Hey, Diane.
Hey, Michael.
Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Everybody out there that's listening, normally Diane and I do the Over the Teacup Sunday episodes where we do things like this. We review movies and movies.
You also said biopic instead of biopic, so it's okay.
It's okay. We normally do this on a Sunday, but now we're going to do this Wednesday because there are so many films that we need to still review prior to the Oscars. We want to make sure that we get them all in. So we hope that you stay with us and you get to enjoy this wonderful review and talk about Elvis the movie. It is. I grew up with Elvis,
Hmm? You
and
did?
yeah, huge fan. And
Yeah.
I grew up with his movies. I grew up with his music. I grew up with idolizing him like so many others. And I was watching TV, sitting on the front room, living room floor, and I heard the news when he died, and it was like a blow to me and my mom, actually.
Hmm?
Kind of
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
but let's tell everybody about it.
Okay.
Elvis, the movie, is an ambitious and visually stunning film that tells the story of one of the most iconic musicians of all time. The film follows Elvis from his teenage years through his rise to fame and his struggles as he faces the pressures of life as a celebrity while maintaining a complex relationship with his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, which we have
Uh,
a few little things we want to talk about Colonel Tom Parker, but this apparently is kind of from Colonel, well, he's not really a colonel, so I'm just going to call him Tom Parker, um, from his eyes while he was dying. It was
mhm.
kind of a notes and one of his last little things he kind of documented out, I guess. And this is where it's at. You can watch it on HBO Max now. You don't even have to pay for it. We bought the movie though.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we
Because
did.
we love Elvis. You're talking about when the day he died. I was actually Lisa Marie's age. I'm a few months younger than she was. Rest in peace, Lisa Marie. And I was outside playing. I don't know. And I came inside and my mom said, "Guess who died today?" And I said, "Grandpa." I was all worried.
Grandpa.
Oh, she goes, "No." And I'm like, "Who's that?" Like I was not played in our house. It was my mom wasn't, I guess, necessarily a fan. I mean, she probably didn't mind the music, but she wasn't a fan. And so I don't think I even remember hearing an Elvis song until after he died.
I mean, this is obviously nothing against your mother, but I think it's because she grew up in such a religious family that they went along with that same thought that Elvis the pelvis was the
Right,
devil, and you don't
right.
listen to his music because it's going to turn you, into the evil side, and you know that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I
So I'm,
think.
yeah.
Well, obviously, I'm such of an Elvis fan that not only did I listen to the music, I sang it, and I used to style my hair kind of like it. Remember when we went to Vegas that one time? They asked me if I was there for the convention.
Because you did back in the day.
Yeah.
You really did kind of resemble Elvis,
Uh,
and you always sing like him. You always, I love it when you sing Elvis to me.
well, it's now it's an old Elvis. You always wonder what Elvis would sound like at this age. Well, here it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of different, but it's still good.
a little bit different. Yeah. Well, let's tell everybody a little bit about the movie. So that's what we're here for, and we can kind of get in the middle of this because it's a brilliant movie, and I think that Austin Butler did a fantastic job and so forth. So let me
Mhm.
get into it. Austin Butler's portrayal of Elvis is nothing short of brilliance. This is my own review. Short of brilliance, his performance captures the essence of Elvis, the music, the energy, the charisma. He very clearly studied the original recordings as well as Elvis' mannerisms and movements to bring authenticity to the role. And I know that I've seen that in some of the interviews that he had done during the junket to promote the movie, and I wholeheartedly believe it. In fact, he's still having a hard time getting rid of his Elvis um, voice drawl.
Right, right.
He's supported by a talented cast that includes Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker, Helen Thomson as Elvis's beloved mother, and Richard Roxburgh as Elvis's troubled father, Vernon Presley, and Olivia DeJonge as Pricilla. Everybody on this did a fantastic job, I think, with this. I am very impressed with all aspects of it. I
Yeah,
think that Austin Butler did a fantastic job in portraying Elvis Presley. The closest thing to watching Elvis, I think that I've seen in a really long time.
I agree, and I think that it also helped that um, Priscilla and Lisa Marie welcomed him into their lives and into their home to prepare for it. You know, they
Yeah,
wanted him to
yeah,
be as possible in all things Elvis, and so I'm sure that that helped. But he's very talented.
he
He
is very talented.
Austin Butler's very talented.
Well,
So
and it's really interesting because I know that I know for his audition he went and rehearsed a song, and he rehearsed it over and over and over again. And then he went in, so he knew he had to nail it. And he
mhm.
went in and he won the audition with that song. And then when he sang it in the movie, they only did like 20 seconds of it. It really upset him. He goes, "I did the whole song. You only gave me 20 seconds."
Didn't he even learn how to play piano or something?
He did learned how to play piano for it and everything.
And what song was it? Was it Trilogy?
I think it was
American?
Trilogy. Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was American Trilogy.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was he. I mean, he really took this to heart, and he made sure that he watched every Elvis movie, and
Mhm.
he took after me. Every Elvis movie, listen to every
Yeah.
album.
Mhm. You've done those more than once.
Yes, I
Sometimes
have.
five.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
In my opinion, this is like a stunning, well-crafted, emotionally affecting portrait of the life and the career of the king of rock and roll. From his humble beginnings in poverty-stricken Tupelo, Mississippi, to becoming one of the 20th century's most iconic and influential figures. I mean, Elvis died in 1977, and his music, his persona, his presence, his charisma still lives today.
Yeah.
You know that?
I mean, they still, I think they still go to Graceland on August 16th and
They do
travel, and they were all there for his birthday. And I mean,
every year.
I don't see how it's ever gonna, pardon the word, die. I don't think it's ever gonna die. You know.
Well, and it unfortunately with Lisa Marie passing away recently, yeah, I think that really affected it a little bit as well because from my perspective, and I think you agree with me, I think that um, taking it out of Priscilla's hands and allowing Lisa Marie to control um, the legend, I guess,
Mhm.
and everything that was associated with it, in lieu of Priscilla, which right now they're fighting over, which is really stupid. They're fighting over the life insurance policies and things like that were supposed to go to her daughter,
Yeah.
Riley Coe.
Right.
And, Priscilla's fighting it because I think that that's the only thing she knows is Elvis's money, even to this day.
Yeah. I,
So,
well, I'm sure that's probably most of it, but she also, before Lisa Marie came of age to be in control of that, Priscilla did make some good business decisions with Graceland and, his legacy. So, I mean, it's not like she would, I mean, nothing against Lisa Marie, but didn't she go through like $100 million in like 10 years or something? Or that may not be the right number, but it was some outrageous amount of money that she went through.
yeah, she did. I mean, the estate itself, I think, was in dire straits a little bit because of that. I know that she sold a good portion of the Elvis library of music to an individual that kind of, in my opinion, pawns it out too much. Didn't really. I mean, he remixed a bunch of stuff into some
Yeah.
weird
Don't
music.
like this. Do not like them at
It's
all.
not. Yeah, it's just
Uh,
not. But that's a whole nother conversation. We got to get back to the movie, the Buzz Luhrmann Austin Butler movie. In my opinion, Elvis, it was an inspiring story and is brought to life with a mix of like dynamic visuals, a captivating soundtrack. Butler's able to bring out Elvis, his complexity, showing him as a passionate artist, like a rebellion, a rebel, and a devoted family man. Gives us he gives a mesmerizing performance, in my opinion. It captures Elvis's unique blend of charisma, vulnerability, and ambition. Um, it's not. I mean, I know you don't like me using this word a lot, but it's nothing short of brilliant. I think it was a brilliant performance.
it was
Um,
very, very good.
yeah, I think he captures the essence of Elvis. I mean, growing up with Elvis, I obviously could look at him and say, well, I can see we knew Trent Carlini, or
Right.
at the time. And Trent Carlini was one of the best Elvis impersonators in Las Vegas. In fact, he won when Graceland did a contest. Trent Carlini won like the top notch thing. Um, I think that Butler really brought it over and above that. I believe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, especially for being as young as he is, um, he, I mean, well, he did the work. You can
He did the
definitely see
work.
the work.
Yeah. And the music, it's Elvis music, and there's a combination of Austin Butler singing it as well as Elvis. So there's a mix in there, not a mix as in he's singing with the soundtrack. A mix as in there are certain songs that Austin Butler sings, and there's certain soundtracks that they brought in from Elvis.
The
So
original.
the continuity, so that he didn't have to learn all of those songs because
Right.
we know Elvis over the years, his voice matured to a certain point, from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Well, not the 80s.
Not
Well,
the
the 80s,
80s.
not the
But
80s.
and I think with his health deteriorating as well, that's going to change your voice.
It's going to change things. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the end, he got very overweight in the last couple of years. I mean, we watched him from 1975 to 1977. I watched him go
I'm
from
gonna
a
say,
and what looked healthy to
yeah,
me, in shape, looking good, and he went downhill fast in 2 years. It was just unfortunate and really sad. But the movie, the music, the energy, the charisma is all there. And it's very clear that he, as you said earlier, he studied the original recordings and he studied Elvis's mannerisms and movements. And in my opinion, he brought some authenticity to the role. Um, to me, knowing what I knew about Elvis growing up and watching his movies, watching things in his life, I mean, there were several documentaries that were done like with Elvis and his entourage, where he filmed it himself. and you can see the exhaustion. You can see the I don't really want to do this anymore. They're running me to death. I'm doing too many performances, too many tours. I need to slow down. I need to stop. I need to go see my family. Can't sleep. I can't go to sleep. But then when I do go to sleep, I can't wake up.
Yeah.
And and these were actual from actual documentaries that he was part of as they toured. So,
Who was the cause of all that?
well, in my
Like just
opinion, in my opinion,
yeah,
it is Tom Parker, who Tom Hanks played a really good Tom Parker. We have
yeah,
to
he
give
did.
Tom
Never really disliked Tom Hanks, but I did not like Tom Hanks. I didn't like him, and I know it's because of who he was playing and
because he was
how well.
playing.
I was like, yeah, you can go now. I
Well,
don't want to
and
see.
realistically, Tom Parker, that's not Tom Parker's real name. Tom Parker actually came here, and it has been determined that he came here illegally and that he changed his name, and then he was a circus hawker. And
He was what was he was from another country. What was he
Austria,
from?
Austria,
Was he from Austria?
Austria or Hungary, I think.
Something like that. Okay.
So yeah, he basically to stay here, he hid from everything, and he he felt by putting the name Colonel in front of him that people wouldn't think twice about it, and that he was some kind of a war hero type guy, and he was never in the military, and he actually didn't even belong here really. But one thing for absolutely sure, in my opinion, and in several other people's opinion, I'm sure you agree with me, he was a con man.
Yep, the original,
The
the original
original.
con man.
He
Yeah,
took advantage of Elvis Presley, his naiveness, his
his
gentle
trust.
nature, his trust. He grew up a Southern boy, and to him, Mama was everything. And see, I'm starting to talk like Elvis now. You
And
know,
he was taught to respect his elders and
respect his elders.
looked
So
Park
this,
as an elder and as a mentor, and so he was going to, do whatever he
yeah,
said. Got to be too long that he was doing that and he couldn't get out of it.
and I think this movie shows that very distinctly. You
Yeah.
see the the struggle
Hmm.
between wanting to break away and do his own thing to going okay fine. He broke away at one time, and then you'll see, and I hate giving stuff away, but you can read this anywhere. You'll see where Tom Parker weaseled his way right back in, and most of that was because he was so far in gambling debt, and this is true facts. He's so far in gambling debt that he needed Elvis to go back and do a nonstop 7 day a week, show in Las Vegas in order to pay Tom Parker's bills.
Ugh. It
Yeah.
just it makes me so angry. It just it's so sad. It's really
Well,
really
I,
sad.
I
You walk away from this movie going, "Wow, I feel that people maybe that if there's people out there that see this that were never really huge Elvis fans or kind of, oh, he's nothing but a drug addict and he's this and he's that. I think that they're going to come away from this movie feeling different about Elvis Presley.
I
At
agree
least I
with
hope.
that, and I think that the addiction, the drug addiction, came from Tom Parker.
Yes, it
He would when Elvis said that he needed to you need to go perform, he'd give him barbiturates.
did.
And then when he came back and said, "Well, I need to go to sleep," then he'd give him something to go to sleep.
I mean, I think that the doctor that I mean, obviously the doctor was probably hired by Tom Parker,
Oh, he
uh,
was
yeah,
absolutely was.
to keep him on this cycle.
And I can't remember the doctor's name. I should remember it, but he's an evil man. And they held him accountable because the amount of drugs that were in Elvis Presley's body when he did die. But it was all, in my opinion, although this is supposed to be told from Tom Parker on his deathbed, and he's, telling this whole story, and he's trying to make himself out to be, well, it really wasn't me. It really wasn't me. It was just, all this other stuff. But in reality, you see the seam splitting where you understand that he doesn't, he believes himself.
Mhm.
He believes he created the story, believes in. It reminds me of somebody very distinct.
Mhm.
We won't get into that one either during this, but
Yeah, but
just
that's what the original con man. So there's been others that have followed, and
what? Yeah,
others who are.
we'll say there's some high-profile individuals that have followed in his footsteps. Um, Baz Luhrmann, his direction is remarkable. I think he creates an atmosphere of nostalgia and glamour. While still doing justice to the story of Elvis's life. Luhrmann captures the highs and the lows of Elvis's career and his struggles with fame and sort of a
and the
simple empathy.
and the beginnings too, where he came from,
Yeah,
and he goes into that a lot as well, which I thought was a really good way to make sure everybody understood how it all came to be and where he came from and what his family life was like. And
yeah, he tells a story from the beginning, which is really really good. As I said earlier, you compound that brilliant direction in realistically. So Baz Luhrmann has been around the business for a really long time, both in film and in music. And here in a few minutes here, I'll give you a list of his accomplishments, and I think that you'll find that he definitely comes at this from a perspective not only from as a director and a writer in film, but he comes from it from a musical perspective as well. And I think that he did a fantastic job in creating this brilliant movie that gives us the inside look at Elvis Presley, where he came from, how his journey came about, how his addictions came about, and how he felt so lost because of all of that. I think it really gives a good option for people to
I,
have a
I
better
mean,
understanding.
I agree. I think that if he was an Elvis fan, I mean, I think it came through.
Yeah,
Um, but I also think what came through was the one thing I didn't like about it was the way Priscilla is portrayed. Um, it's a little too clean and what am I trying to say? Uh, she looks she looks very innocent in this whole movie.
yeah.
And
They made Priscilla. I mean, if anybody that's an Elvis fan and everybody that knows Elvis Presley and this story, I mean, obviously this is an inside look at the story, but they know that Priscilla and screwed around on Elvis, plain and simple, with his
well,
karate instructor,
he screwed on her too.
Mike Stone. Well, yes, but what I'm saying is Priscilla was not innocent. But like you said, in the movie, she's portrayed all nicey and innocent.
And
And
she was the one that came out looking the best out of this movie, and it kind of threw me. I was like, that's not the stories we've always known. So
well, I mean, one thing for absolutely sure is that he did love her.
yeah,
But,
and I loved him. I think she did.
I think she
I think
did. I think things changed.
she didn't know how to get him away from Tom Parker.
Yeah.
She tried.
Tom Parker interfered. Tom Parker interfered with their marriage, immensely. And I think this movie doesn't really show that, but that's just a perspective that we understand from outside of that. And I wish it would have
Well,
shown it.
I think it showed it enough to you get the gist that he was a big cause of her not being able to stay.
I wish it would have shown more, actually. From my opinion, I wish it would have shown more. But Austin Butler, I mean, he's nominated for Best Actor. He's nominated for, the film itself is nominated for the Best Picture. And Baz Luhrmann is nominated as well. And I don't know if Tom Hanks is nominated. Tom Hanks nominated?
I
I, I
don't
probably should have
remember.
looked. Well, yeah, we were so concentrating on Butler's performance and Luhrmann's direction, I forgot to look up whether or not Tom Hanks was.
I mean, I think I don't know. I As much as I love Tom Hanks, I don't know. It was a very kind of cartoonish, um, in my opinion, portrayal. I don't think it was his best work by any.
No,
So
but I
I
but I
wouldn't.
do I do think he portrayed Tom Parker as a con man, in my
Yeah,
opinion. You
you
could
did.
actually see that.
Yeah, you definitely see that, but I don't think it's Tom Hanks's best work. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's not nominated.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, in Butler to be nominated for best actor, in this film, in my opinion, he gives a mesmerizing performance that captures Elvis's unique blend of charisma, vulnerability, his ambition. His performance captures the essence of Elvis. That's the one thing. The one thing that I did think I was able to see in growing up with Elvis,
Hmm.
I could see where he captured the essence of Elvis
Yeah, he
and
did,
his
and
music.
in each era
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. The music, the energy. I mean, absolutely. And I know I said this earlier, but I think it really shows that he really studied the recordings, the original recordings, studied Elvis's mannerisms, his movements, and everything to bring authenticity to the role. Um, from that perspective, if if you're listening, Austin Butler, I think that you did a brilliant job in portraying somebody that I grew up watching and impersonating myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't impersonating myself, but impersonating Elvis.
Well, but you. There was the Elvis review when the girls were little.
I have done Elvis publicly,
You
and
have done
and and yeah, and I look damn good in a jumpsuit,
you
honey,
did.
honey.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting because obviously he's also got I mean, I need to say this: the ensemble cast overall did
Hmm.
a great job as well. I think that everybody carried their part in a way that they should have carried the part, and that it all supported the film in totality. I think they did a really great job
They
with
did.
bringing everything together, all pieces and facets of this, the Elvis's life, and they rushed through a few things, and go back to Priscilla, for example, and I think this was Priscilla that really insisted on this. They showed all these parts of these different famous movies, but one of Elvis's most famous movies was Viva Las Vegas and the chemistry with Anne Margaret.
Ah,
And they just kind of skimmed right over that really fast. And I think, Elvis, after he died, as you know, Elvis actually sent flowers, a big thing of guitar shaped
you mean
flower arrangement
you mean before he died?
before he died. Did I say after?
Yes.
Maybe he's doing it after too.
Well, maybe he had it set up that way. I don't know.
Well,
But yeah,
I think my brain was moving faster than my mouth.
yeah.
After she started a residency in Las Vegas, um, and Margaret started a residency in Las Vegas, Elvis Presley used to every night would send her a guitar shaped thing of flowers. And I think that's reminiscent of the movie where, they do especially the pool scene.
By the pool. Oh, I love
The
that movie.
lady loves him, but she doesn't know it yet.
So yeah.
So I,
Yeah.
I do believe that she just buzzed right over that, and that's one of his best loved films for most people because there was so much chemistry there.
They I mean, it's not a secret. They had an affair
Well,
for
it and they call Anne Margaret the female Elvis Presley.
Elvis. Exactly. They were, I don't know, if there's ever two twin souls, I think those two are it, man.
Well, and again, that goes back to Tom Parker putting a
Hmm.
kibosh on that
Yep.
and doing it from that, shutting it down. And I think that's why every time she went to perform, he'd send that big thing of flowers, sort of like a screw you to Tom Parker, like I'm going to do this anyway, whether you like it or not.
Well, and I think because during that time frame that they were filming Viva Las Vegas and they started seeing each other, Priscilla was at Graceland, still underage. He was just kind of biding time with her to get to an age where he could marry her, and
Mm,
and he fell in love with Anne Margaret in the meantime. But everybody knew. that
He
Pricilla was there.
well that and he promised Priscilla's father that he would take care of her and stuff,
Right.
and when she came
So
back
I
to her.
think,
So
if he had been able to be with Anne Margaret like he probably wanted to be, it would have been this big scandal that he had this, underage girl that he was, actually supposed to be with, or I don't know. It was kind of a weird, kind of a, even today, that would be a really weird situation. I think today would be worse, actually. Um, Back in the day, I guess people just kept their mouth shut, but
you know, like
it's
I
just
said,
that's obviously why it was just completely glossed over, and you did not really see. Um, they show different parts of his movies, and there was just a little smidgen of Viva Las Vegas. Very like you would miss it if you didn't know to look for it.
in fact, when we after we watched it, I said they didn't do Viva Las Vegas, and you went, yeah, they did,
But it was very small, and it
very
was
quick.
just
So it was that fast.
yeah.
And realistically, we have to ask the question. This begs the question: what if Elvis and Anne Margaret actually were able to get together and live their life out the way they did? Because things might have changed, and he
Mm,
might very well be alive today
I
because he felt trapped in so many other ways,
yeah
and
I,
she gave him the freedom.
yeah, I would say that they definitely would have been able to live out their lives, at kind of normal. Like, I
Yeah,
think he might have actually been able to calm down after a while, and maybe they decided that they'd had enough of show business and they just want to live their lives. I could definitely see that.
yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate that that didn't actually happen. Now,
Very.
let's talk about the director because I think he's nominated as well. And obviously he produced the film, so the film itself is nominated. Baz Luhrmann's his actual name is Mark Anthony. Everybody
Oh,
calls
really?
him Baz. He's an Australian film director, producer, writer, and actor. He's got projects spanning film, television, opera, theater, music, and recording industries. He's a writer and a director of Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby, Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. Say
Right.
that real fast 3 times.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, the actual Baz Luhrmann himself, I think, because of his, um, I would say, his experience with all aspects of the film, theater, music, the other musicals that he had done. I mean, like iconic musicals that he has
Yeah.
done. In this, he didn't disappoint.
No,
Uh,
I think it'd been a while since he had done something this big. And I know I was
yeah,
thinking, does he still got it? I mean, it's been a while. But no, this was, I think overall, if I look at what we watched in the movie, you really see how much work everybody put into it. I mean, from cast and crew, I mean, the costumes, just that alone, it,
well, they had to range from 1950s all the way through the 70s.
yeah, they, well, even into the, like the 30s when he was really little, like,
Oh, like a child. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I just think that that's what I come away with is that the movie is phenomenal. I totally understand why it's nominated. I could see it winning, except for some of the movies it's up against. I don't think it's going to win, but you really, really can see how much work everybody put into this movie.
Well, and in actuality, like you said, it just recreating the decades
Hmm.
in itself was amazing because they recreated the costume, the clothing, the vehicles, the atmosphere, the everything. The
The
film
set, de-
features. I'm sorry.
the set design must have been. I mean, they must have spent a lot of money and a lot of research and a lot of time. I mean, a lot of work went
Yeah.
into even the set design.
Well, and that goes back to Blonde. I think the people that did the set design in Blonde and the costuming in Blonde did an absolutely fantastic job as well. So
Yes.
I don't know if Elvis is. I mean, we're dealing mostly with the film itself, the writers, the directors, the actors, more so than the above the line or below the line
Mm.
individuals. So I don't know, but I know that it's going to be tough if they are
It,
because of what they recreated. This film features incredible recreations of some of the most memorable performances, as we just said. Sort of like of a Love Me Tender, 1956, 1968 comeback. I think doing the 1968 comeback, they did a fabulous job with 1968 comeback.
yeah,
Made you really think you were watching Elvis up there. I still
yeah.
have one of those black leather shoots, baby.
Yes, you did.
And Aloha from Hawaii to his last performance before he died, which I think was about 6 months before he died, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, they did that as well. So you kind of got to see the glory and the struggles.
Mm-hmm.
You got to empathize with his journey from wanting the exposure to enjoying his life to wanting to be an actor but getting screwed by some of his films are a little hokey,
Yeah,
and he was disappointed in that. He was locked in because of Parker. He was locked into a bunch of them. That's why
yeah.
Viva Las Vegas was so good, because they had so much chemistry that I'm in a real film that I can really enjoy.
Mm.
All the way down to you're working me to death, and I'm tired of this. And I mean, you see the whole thing,
Well,
and it's
and Austin Butler just 100% nailed it on the emotion.
well,
What
yeah,
whether it was happy or angry or, I mean, he just nailed it every
it was
single.
pretty good. And it's you're well, just like Michelle Yeoh had to play like 8 or 9 different characters in
Yeah.
everything everywhere. He basically had to play Elvis from the 50s or before the 50s, in the 50s, as he was growing up all the way through the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s.
Well,
He,
I think
he
younger Elvis, they had one or two actors.
overall, Dan, what did you think?
Oh, I loved the movie. It's probably a movie. I don't usually see movies more than once, but it would be a movie I'd watch again. Um,
And
and
we own it, so you can.
that means high praise because I don't like watching movies more than once. I don't know why.
I
Just a
can
weird.
testify that for the whole 34 and a half years we known each other, 34 years, a
It's
little bit
weird,
more than,
but
yeah.
yet I will watch Grease over and over and over again. So, you know,
Well, you have specific movies. This just happens to be one of them now.
that I will watch again. Yes.
Well, and I got to tell you, because the overall, I think Elvis, the 2022 biopic, there I said it right, is a powerful and poignant drama about one of the most iconic figures in all of music. Luhrmann's direction, Butler's performance, and the stellar cast all come together to create an unforgettable film. It's a must see for any fan of Elvis Presley and the powerful reminder of the importance of his legacy. That's my opinion. I think that, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it.
See it.
If you have seen it, then you need to, well, you can't vote for it, unfortunately. Um, these Oscars, what they need to do is let people vote, not just the
But
Academy vote.
that's what the People's Choice Awards are for.
True. That is true. That's a true point. But I think for the Oscar movies, they should let us vote, because sometimes they bring some weird movies in. Now, we've been very
That's
surprised this year about the movies that we've seen that we thought we wouldn't like. And realistically, there's been several independent films that have reached this pinnacle within the Oscar race, and it turns out that we actually kind of enjoyed them.
There's one that we still need to watch that neither one of us really want to, so I won't say the name of it, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get to that. But some of
Yeah,
them I'm just like, why would you make a movie about that? Like, what?
I agree.
Why? And why is that even an interesting thing? It's not. It's just not.
Well, I in this particular movie, again, like I just said, I think I would absolutely 100% recommend that you see it if you haven't seen it. And it's been out for quite some time now, so you
I
have
think
to be able to see it.
I think most people have seen it,
Most
but
people.
So if you're not an Elvis fan, or if you really just, oh, Elvis, can't stand him, I'd still think you'd enjoy the movie.
Well, you might get a new perspective on Elvis.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
Give you a new look on it and a new perspective to say, hey, well, now I understand. I
Yeah.
understand the way he was, why he was, because the man was absolutely 100% talented. There
Mm,
is no question that he
yeah.
is talented.
Yeah.
And not just because I'm a fan, but when you think about it, it took 20 years, 25 years before his record of record sales by a single artist was broken. More than 20 years. So obviously he's an icon in the industry. He started rock and roll, man.
He was definitely something, and I felt very sorry for him at the end of it. It was kind of, I think I left the movie kind of sad and brokenhearted, just because it was sad. The way it ended, it was just sad.
I think it gives. I think it presents empathy.
Yeah.
We're up with empathy. So
Which I think if people don't really like, if they're not huge Elvis fans, I think that they will find to be empathetic towards him if they watch the movie.
yeah, I agree. I think that we need to. I think. Hang on. And to reiterate as we close out, Elvis, this biopic, kind of portrays Elvis's life almost a half a century after his untimely death on August 16th, 1977, in Memphis, Tennessee. The dysfunctional relationship between Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, his longtime manager, Colonel Tom Parker, which I still don't want to call him Colonel. And it continues to create controversy um, with him and his effort to clear his name. And apparently that's why he wanted everything on the record, straight out to everyone about his involvement with Elvis's rise to fame and his career. The time that Parker died, he was penniless and he was desperate. And I know that he woke up like in a Las Vegas hospital room in 1997 with his mind filled with like memories. And he starts reminiscing about these events and his 2 decade long love hate relationship with elements of Elvis Presley's story and his influence on rock and roll, on gospel, on country, on the blues. I mean, a little bit of everything. And on the deathbed, Tom Parker looks back on all the pivotal landmarks of his career. So I, I I did not know that when we started watching the movie. I didn't realize that this was actually from Parker's perspective until recently, actually.
Which I think is very interesting that it was from his perspective, because um, you would think, especially a con man like he was, would want to make himself look, you know, as innocent as possible. But I think it goes to show, the movie shows that he literally was the cause of so much of the negativity in his life, that you can't put lipstick on a pig.
And he was a pig. Well, in fact, I'm not going to disgrace a pig, so I'll call him something else.
Right.
But yes, in realistically, what you see from this movie, you're going to walk away with the the understanding of Elvis Presley's career, his struggles, his addiction, his love, what he loved the most. He could laugh, he could cry, and his desperation to get freedom from Tom Parker. So watch the movie. If you haven't
Yep.
watched it, if you have watched it, watch it again and support this movie during the Oscars that are coming up shortly. So, anything else you want to say, Diane? Did we miss
Nope.
anything?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to us, for watching us, and for joining us on this conversation about Elvis. One of my favorite subjects in the world is Elvis Presley. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday. Well, actually, Sunday. Diane and I will be back on Sunday on our regular programming. And then the following Wednesday, we got a couple of great people coming in to talk. I'm not going to give it away, but we've got some great conversations coming up in the next few weeks. And as a reminder, In the next few weeks, you're also going to see a change in artwork. So keep your eyes open for that. It is still us. It will still be One More Thing Before You Go, but there might be a nice change to kind of everything evolves, right? And everything grows. Everything gets better and bigger and better and, more benefit to you all. So thank you very much for listening. One more thing before you go. Have a great day. Have a great week. And thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform.